Welcome to the Explainer. Look, if you're tuning in right now, chances are you're staring at a blinking light on your kitchen range and getting that all too familiar sinking feeling of an appliance on the fritz. We're skipping the fluff today because I know you just want to get your kitchen back in working order. We are going straight to the source to figure out exactly what your oven is trying to tell you.
Is it flashing an F2? Or, maybe an F7 or an F9? I see you San Diego homeowners, you're trying to prep dinner, or maybe you just ran a heavy-duty cleaning cycle, and now your oven is beeping at you like an angry alarm clock. It is incredibly frustrating, but I promise you, by the end of this explainer, we're going to decode exactly what those flashing lights mean and give you a really clear, specific guide on what you should do next.
Here's the agenda for today. 1. Decoding the oven's brain. 2. The most common fault codes. 3. Quick DIY reset steps. 4. When parts actually fail. And 5. San Diego repair solutions. Okay, Section 1. Decoding the oven's brain. Let's dive right in. To fix the problem, we first have to understand how the appliance actually communicates with us. ERC stands for Electronic Range Control. Think of it as the central nervous system, or really the computer brain hiding right behind your GE control panel. When something in your oven goes sideways, the ERC acts as your oven's built-in diagnostic center. Instead of just shutting down silently and leaving you guessing, it displays an F fault code right on the exact same screen where you normally see the clock or the baking temperature. It is literally trying to point us to the exact failure. Now hold on, before you start taking anything apart, you need to find your exact model number sticker. Usually it's located right on the oven door frame, maybe hidden behind the bottom storage or warming drawer, or sometimes on the sidewall inside the oven cavity itself. Grab a flashlight and really look for it. Why does this matter? Well, while older GE models use simple F codes, newer GE Profile or Cafe models might actually use longer or two-part codes. The exact code map shifts a little bit across generations, so finding that exact model sticker is absolutely essential for accurate troubleshooting. Moving on to Section 2, the most common fault codes. All right, here's your cheat sheet of the codes you are most likely to see. Understanding these is really half the battle. F0 or F1, that points to an issue with the control board or the keypad. F2 means the oven is overheating. F3 or F4 is your temperature sensor acting up. F7 is a stuck touchpad button. And F9 is a door lock or latch issue. Seriously, I highly encourage you to pause the explainer right now and snap a screenshot of this for your own reference. It's incredibly handy to just have on your phone when you're standing right there in front of the appliance. Now pay special attention to the F2 code. This is, hands down, the single most common GE oven code you'll encounter. F2 means the oven ran hotter than its built-in safety limit. And the number one real-world trigger, a self-clean cycle overheating. You see, the self-clean cycle runs the oven cavity far, far hotter than any normal baking or broiling. Sometimes it just pushes the system right past its safety threshold. Alternatively, it could mean a failed oven temperature sensor is feeding the wrong temperature to the control board. Then we have F9, the door lock fault. Listen, with an F9 code, I need you to heed a crucial safety warning. Never, ever force the oven door open. This code usually shows up right after a self-clean cycle when the latch mechanism is supposed to release but doesn't return to the unlocked position. If that latch mechanism fails, grabbing the handle and pulling with all your might won't fix it. It's just going to bend the hinges and cause far more expensive mechanical damage. Just don't do it. Which brings us to Section 3, quick DIY reset steps. Before calling anyone, here are the steps to clear what might just be a temporary glitch. Step 1. Find the dedicated oven breaker in your home's electrical panel. Step 2, flip it off for a full 60 seconds. Step 3, flip it back on. That 60-second window is absolutely critical. It drains any residual voltage from the capacitors, ensuring the board actually reboots rather than just going to sleep. Remember, GE ovens run on 240 volts. They are hardwired. You can't just unplug them from the wall like a toaster. A brief power fluctuation, which, let's be real, is incredibly common during summer grid strain here in San Diego, can trigger a code even when there's no real hardware problem behind it. A hard breaker reset is the only way to clear it and let the control board fully restart. Aside from that breaker reset, there are a couple of other totally safe DIY actions you can take. If you have an F2 or F9 code after a cleaning cycle, just let the oven cool completely with the door shut before you do anything else. Trying to run it again while it's hot is just going to make the fault repeat itself. Now, if you're seeing an F7, which means a stuck button, firmly press and release every single button on the touchpad one at a time to mechanically free it up. Also, take a quick second to double-check that the door is closing fully and isn't obstructed by a bent hinge or maybe a dropped oven rack. All right, section 4, when parts actually fail. So how do we know if it's really broken? Let's compare these two scenarios. First, you have a transient glitch. This clears completely after a 60-second breaker reset and doesn't come back. Easy. On the other hand, a hardware failure is when the exact identical F code immediately pops right back up after you restore the power. So the crucial takeaway here is that a returning code is the definitive dividing line between a temporary power glitch and a component that is truly broken inside your appliance. When that code returns, it means a part has officially failed and requires professional, hands-on diagnosis. These aren't things you want to guess on, mostly because throwing the wrong parts at a GE oven gets expensive really quickly. An F0 or F1 means a failed control board or touchpad. F2, F3, or F4 usually points to a broken RTD temperature sensor. That's the little probe hanging from the back wall of the oven. Or it could be a damaged wiring harness. F7 means a damaged ribbon connector right behind the touchpad itself. And an F9 that simply won't clear means a failed door lock motor or latch assembly. When these specific parts fail, physically testing electrical components and sourcing the exact correct part for your model is strictly required.
And finally, Section 5, San Diego Repair Solutions.
So if you're sitting there with a persistent F code that won't go away, please don't stress. Same-day service is actually available right across San Diego County through the Repair Pro San Diego network. Whether you're down south in Chula Vista, up the coast in Carlsbad or Oceanside, out east in El Cajon, or right in Escondido or central San Diego, professional help is entirely local to you.
And here's why this local network is a real game changer. They offer a flat $89 diagnostic fee, which actually gets credited directly back to your repair. There are no sneaky trip fees to worry about. But best of all, these local technicians carry common GE parts right on their trucks, including oven temperature sensors, control boards, and door lock assemblies. That means most of these frustrating issues get completely solved on the very first visit. You can literally just call them directly at 858-988-7787 to request a quote.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Are you ready to stop stressing over error codes and get cooking again? You now know exactly what your oven's electronic brain is trying to tell you, you know how to safely perform a hard breaker reset, and you know exactly when it's time to call in the local San Diego pros to swap out a failed part. The power is completely back in your hands. Thank you for joining me on this explainer, and hey, here's to a fully functional kitchen.